Hello everyone, Captain's back here with another EDH deck tech. Sorry, it's been a while, just, you know, shit gets in the way of showing you my cardboard, so it is what it is. Today I'm going to show you my Mono Blue Tomorrow Azami's Familiar EDH deck. So this is a 6 mana 1/5. If you would draw a card, you look at the top 3 cards of your library instead. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. So this deck basically just tries to draw, and everybody likes it and has a lot of fun with it. So we'll start off with the land base. 25 basic lands, so just some, I got some foils and some unhinged and shit like that. Doesn't matter. Halimar Depths, 7 non-basics, so for a total of 32 lands, which is a little light, but it does what it needs to do. Halimar Depths lets you look into the future a little bit. Temple of the False God, this is a great EDH land. When you control 5 or more, it taps for 2 colorless. It's very useless if you have less than 5, though. Orboro, Palace in the Clouds, you can bounce this in response to an Armageddon to save yourself a land. Nykthos, this is, these are always good in any monocolored deck. You can get this pumping out with 10, 12, 15 devotion. You're going to be having a great time. Reliquary Tower, you're going to be drawing a lot of cards with this deck, so multiple instances of no maximum hand size are always welcome. Remote Isle, you can cycle it for 2 to get another draw with Tomorrow, or you can just play it for a land that enters tapped. So, and last one is Strip Mine. Great in Commander, just 86 is important land that somebody was going to use. So, yep, 20 or 32 lands. Pretty good. Let's go to the enchantments and artifacts now. We've got Library of Lang. This is another no maximum hand size card. This one also, if a card forces you to discard cards, such as Windfall, which is in this deck, or any other cards that make you maybe like draw a bunch of cards, then discard a card, or anything that makes you discard any cards out of your hand, this card allows you to just put them back on top of your library. So this is a great card to get around stuff like that. Konda's Banner. This is great in a monocolor deck. You can attach it to Tomorrow. It can only be attached to a legendary creature, but you can attach it to Tomorrow and give all creatures that share color with it +1/+1, and any creature types, which it's a spirit. There's a few spirits in here, but mainly just for the color bump for all your guys. Lightning Greaves, super good to throw on Tomorrow. Sky Diamond, I don't run Soul Ring, so I have Sky Diamond. I don't really know if you really need a whole lot of mana artifact ramp in this deck, but throw a little bit in there. So Sky Diamond taps for blue. Swiftfoot Boots, same thing. Does it for let's move this in a little center. There we go. Does the same thing. Throw it on Tomorrow. Good to go. Temple Bell. This allows everybody to draw a card. I have a little combo with that, so put that over there, I guess. Warren Power Stone. It's a shittier Soul Ring. So honestly, it's kind of weird. I think that I have Warren Power Stone but no Soul Ring, but probably should just throw a Soul Ring in there and take Warren Power Stone out. As foretold, this is a new card out of Amonkhet. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a time counter on it, and on each turn. So if you're playing in a pot of 4, that's on your turn, and everybody else's turn. So that's a maximum of 4 times you can use this. You can pay 0 rather than the mana cost of a card where the converted mana costs X or less, where X is the number of time counters on As Foretold. So if you can get this pumping out early, keep it safe, get time counters on it. Once you put 3 or 4 time counters on this thing, it's ridiculous. That's a lot of stuff in the deck. So yeah, this card's pretty sweet. Frozen Aether. Artifacts, creatures, and lands your opponent's control come into play tapped. This just slows everybody down. My playgroup loves that card. They're dumbasses. They don't have lots of ways to deal with enchantments, so they do not like my enchantments. They don't like this one either. Pendril Mist. Tabernacle at Pendril Vale on a creature or on an enchantment. Each creature has pay 1 on your upkeep, or you bury it, sacrifice it. So yeah, This card's pretty mean. Vidalcan Ori lets you play non-land cards though they have flash, so really good. Memory Jar, super good. I like to play with banned cards, not banned in Commander, but other formats banned. So yeah, say you got a huge hand with tomorrow, you got 20-30 cards in there, but the card you need isn't in there. So what you do is you just sack Memory Jar, set that hand aside, and then draw 7 cards. And with tomorrow out, you'll filter through 21 cards. So chances are you'll be able to find what you need in that last 21 cards. So yeah, Memory Jar is a lot of fun. Parallel Thoughts. This one, when it comes into play, you exile 7 cards from your library into their own like mini deck, and then you shuffle that deck and your library. And then if you would draw a card, you can take one from that pile instead. So with tomorrow, I'm pretty sure this doesn't work. I think you just take the top card of the pile and put it in your hand. You don't actually draw. It's another replacement effect. So yeah, I think that's how that works anyways. Paradox Engine. This card is pretty broken in Commander. I can definitely see it getting banned sometime, especially with the decks that use it pretty degenerately. This deck doesn't use it too degenerately. It does some pretty cool stuff with like Arcanus, the Omnipotent, and playing some like little spells to just untap him and just keep drawing. But yeah, it's a sweet card. Might as well play with it while it's here. Metallurgic Summonings. This is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you create an XX colors construct creature where X is that converted mana cost. So this is a good card. It's out of Kaladesh. Lets you just create blockers because you have a lot of instants and sorceries in this deck. So if you put this out and just create a good little bit of blockers, can help you out. Mind Over Matter. This is the Temple Bell combo. So with Mind Over Matter and Temple Bell, basically you just tap this. Whoops. You just tap this. Everybody's going to draw a card. Then with Mind Over Matter, you can choose and discard that card that you just drew or any other card to untap this. So you're literally just going to draw. So it's a good way to mill out the board, mill yourself out, especially if you have maybe like, something that, if you would draw a card in your library and you have none, you win the game instead. Maybe like one of those kinds of cards, wink, wink, sniff, sniff. So yeah, Mind Over Matter is a lot of fun. Cage Sun. I used to have a Gauntlet of Power in here. I could probably throw it back in, but I'd put Cage Sun in there because it's better. You choose a color, and your creatures get +1/+1 of the chosen color, and your lands that tap for the color of your choice add 2. So it's not symmetrical like a Gauntlet of Power is. So that's the downside for Gauntlet of Power, is it's symmetrical. And last card is either Mean Sheen. I think it's Mean Sheen. Or Min Sheen. If you watch my King Yao Fat Pack opening, I will open this card. I opened it and I was like, wow, this card's a fucking piece of trash. But in this deck, it's super good because all creatures get -X/-0, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So that's going to be a lot of cards, usually, that you're going to have in your hand with tomorrow. So yeah, this card can stop everyone in their tracks pretty much. So we got 18 enchantments and artifacts. In the deck, we'll go to the creatures next. Boom. So we'll start it off. No 1-drops. Don't need them. Snapcaster Mage. This guy's an all-star. He shoots fucking ghosts with that fucking cannon he's got there. And he flashes back instants and sorceries from your graveyard. So he's a lot of fun. There's a certain instant, or it's actually a sorcery in here that you can flash back multiple times, which you shouldn't. It's broken. Kami the Crescent Moon, he just allows everybody to just draw an additional card. So he's a masterless little Kami, and he just causes problems. He's funny. This is the Juicy Apprentice. It's a foil. It's kind of hard to get, but yeah, it's foil. And I like these flip Kamigawa ones. They're pretty cool. This one, 3, tap it, draw a card. If you have 9 or more in your library, then you flip them over. And target player, there we go. Target player draws X cards, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So, I mean, you can tap this to draw 30 cards if you have 30 cards in your hand. So, yeah, he can get pretty bonkers. Lighthouse Chronologist. Let's see if we can. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're playing with fire. Lighthouse Chronologist. Yeah, so if you can pay 1 blue to put level counters on him, and if he has 7 or more level counters on him, then at the beginning of each end step, if it's not your turn, you take an extra turn after this. So I'm pretty sure it's after everybody's turn, you take a turn after theirs. So yeah, this guy gets pretty much taken care of pretty fast. Fog Bank, it's just a great blocker. It's flying and neither deals nor receives combat damage, so it stops all those raptors right in their tracks. Seagate Oracle, when it enters the battlefield, you get the top 2 cards of your library. Put one in your hand and one on the bottom. He's good for like early game, getting what you need, getting what you don't want. Gargamoza, he's the same thing as Fog Bank, but he's just a jellyfish, and he's 1/3. So, but he literally does the same thing as Fog Bank. He's sweet. Fate Spinner. Everybody likes this guy, this woman. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, they choose either draw, main phase, or combat, and they skip each instant of that phase. So if they choose main phase, they skip both their main phases and their draw step or their combat. So usually people don't like this guy to stick around for long, or this woman. They don't let it stick around for too long because she can really warp the turns. But usually they let her stick around for a little bit, especially if they have like a good board state. They'll just skip draw or whatever, or main phase. They just want to attack you because you're a fucking dick. So that's fine. Here was that guy I was talking about, Laboratory Maniac. So if you draw a card while you have no cards in your library, you'll win the game. So this guy is basically how you win the game in this deck. So I was just thinking about it. I could probably use Propaganda in this deck, but my friend already hates Propaganda enough. So, and I run it in like 2 or 3 of my other decks, which I will be doing deck checks on very soon. So yeah, I probably shouldn't run Propaganda in here. I should probably just leave it where it is. Apprentice Wizard. This guy's cooked as fuck. He smokes so much of that good dope. He'll add 3 mana to your mana pool. So he's a little bit of ramp, a little bit of stoned ramp. Archaeomancer or Archaeomancer or whatever it is. When it enters the battlefield, you return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. So it's basically Snapcaster for more expensive, but it does the same thing as Snapcaster. Luzon Scholar General is horsemanship. So that means he can only be blocked by creatures with horsemanship. And whenever he successfully damages your opponent, you may draw a card. So he and tomorrow work out pretty good. Mole Drifter. If you just evoke this thing, you can just draw 2 cards, which means if you have tomorrow out, you can filter through the top 6. If you just cast this guy and then ride Replication on him later in the game, then you can draw a whole bunch more cards. So he's a lot of fun to ride Replication on. He's good. Sturmgeist. This guy's cool. He is flying and his power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. When he deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So he's gotten pretty big before. I've had him 25, 30. And he's foil, so he's fun. Mnemonic Wall does the same thing as Archaeomancer and Snapcaster Mage, just gets an instant sorcery back from the graveyard. So, yep. Aeon Chronicle, this guy's alright. Maybe switch him out if I was feeling real hyphy. His power and toughness is equal to the cards in your hand, and then you could suspend him with literally like any amount of time. So you pay 4 and then X. So you could just put a bunch of time counters on him, and whenever you remove a time counter from him, you draw a card. So, I mean, he could come off suspended and be huge if you've been drawing a bunch of cards with him and with tomorrow or whatever. So, I mean, he can do some cool stuff. But this is the bane of everyone. This is the bane of this is the nuts and the bolt. This is the shit right here. Consecrated Sphinx. Everybody loves this guy. Flying, whenever your opponent draws a card, you draw 2. So, one of these guys out. Every turn, you're going to be filtering through 6 cards and taking the best 2. If you ride Replication on this dude, you will have 6 Consecrated Sphinx. 6 fucking Sphinx. You will draw 2 cards off of each one. So, you'll be drawing a maximum of 12 cards off of your Sphinx. You're going to be filtering through a lot of cards. I'm very bad at math, so, I think that's like fucking 60 or something. something like that. You're going to be filtering through an insane amount of cards with 6 Sphinxes out there in tomorrow. So this guy can just basically win you the game. He's a 4/6 flying too, so he's a big body. Yeah, so this guy's a lot of fun. So get rid of him fast if you see him coming out, which usually people do. Arcanus the Omnipotent. This is the guy I was talking about, Paradox Engine. So if you just tap him to draw 3, then if you drew like a little spell with Paradox Engine, you just cast it, untap all of your shit. Or not all your lands, but most of your shit. And if you have like a Nykthos going with like 12, 15 devotion, boom, there you go. So play a little spell, untap him, draw 3. Play a little spell, untap him, draw 3. He can just start shooting lightning hard out of his hand. This is a duplicate. This is a Japanese duplicate. I actually looked it up, so I know what the hell it does. When it enters the battlefield, you exile a target creature, any target creature. So he's good at exiling and removing creatures. And then, as long as it was the last, as long as it was a creature spell, I guess, or I guess it was a creature spell. As long as it was the last one, he gets their power and toughness, basically. But he's still a shapeshifter. So he's good at just 86 and a big creature. Draining Welk. This is an expensive counter spell on a creature, but flash flying for 6 mana. You counter a spell when he comes in, and then you put +1/+1 counters on it where it's the CMC of the spell. So this guy can get fucking huge if you counter a big spell. I mean, for 6 mana, if you counter like a 10 mana spell, make an 11/11 flying, dude. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool with me. Sphinx of the Final Word. He can't be countered. He is flying hexproof, and your instants and sorceries can't be countered. So he's good because his answer is always no. He answers questions as readily as he asks them, but he always just says no. Inkwell Leviathan. These last few guys, Sphinx and Draining Welk and some of that, and Inkwell. These guys are just kind of big beaters to come out if shit's really starting to hit the fan. But yeah, Island Walk, Trample, Shroud, pretty difficult to get rid of Inkwell Leviathan. But yeah, he's pretty expensive, but he's a lot of fun. And the last creature is Billy Jin, the Piano Man. He is flash when he comes in. At the beginning of your end step, you draw 7 cards, and everybody's hand size is reduced by 7. So if people don't have out Reliquary Tower, Thought Vessel, Library of Lang, Spellbook, any of that maximum hand size stuff, and Billy Jin comes out to do his solo, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're effed in the A with a BBC. It's done. Game's over. Billy Jin, the Piano Man. So there's 23 creatures in the deck. Pretty good amount of those guys. Hold off the board, not so good with Pendulum Miss, but So we'll go last thing, which is kind of like the meat and potatoes of the deck, which is the instants and sorceries. Try to scoot this up a tiny schmeckle. Yeah, that should do. Okay, Ponga 5. Kill many generals with this. Destroy target creature and give them an ape. They get about as pissed as that dude on the pitcher. They are fucking pissed when you 86 their 7 mana commander for one blue and give them a fucking shitty ape. Ponder, this is super good for the early game. Not like super good once you have tomorrow out there just pumping out hard, but good for the early game, filtering and stuff. Mind's Aglow. A lot of people do not join forces with me anymore because they know what I'm up to. Starting with you, each player pays any amount of mana, and then you all draw that many cards. So, yeah, it can get ridiculous if people just want to draw cards and don't care. And I have tomorrow. I can just start filtering hard. Swan Song. Great counterspell. A lot of people don't see this coming. It's just kind of like Pongify. They hate that fucking bird. They fucking hate that bird. They'll just chump with it and just they fucking hate it, and they hate you. Preordain, once again, it's really good in the early game. Not as good later on once you have tomorrow going, but it's a good draw spell. Prosperity, I've won a few games off this. Blue and X, everybody draws X cards. So I mean, once again, if you have a lot of mana or not many things left in your deck and Lab Maniacs out, just hit this off, game's over. Brainstorm, this is once again another good card in the early game. Draw 3, put 2 back on top. You're not trying to put cards back into your library, so that's the only downside with this card. But besides that, it's like I said, it's good in the early game. So draws you 3. Cyclonic Rift, this is great in any blue deck, but for some dumbass reason, I didn't have it in here until recently. I don't know why. I was like, I probably need Cyclonic Rift in this deck. And yeah, it works out great. Pull from tomorrow. This is another new one out of Amonkhet. Draw X cards, then discard a card, so it's 2 blue and X. So once again, with like a huge Nykthos going, or just any amount of a lot of mana, you can just draw a bunch of cards, filter through a bunch of cards, and then discard one card. One card! There's so many cards in this deck that you can just fucking throw away. Who fucking cares, Words of Wisdom. This is draw 2 cards, and then each other player can draw a card. So you don't really care if everybody's drawing cards, as long as you get to draw a card. Or you get to draw 2, so you get to filter through 6 with tomorrow. So that's what it's all about. Brain Geyser. I usually just use this on you to just draw a bunch more cards. So it's good. Counterspell just basically does what it says. Dissipate is cancel, but strictly better. Counterspell, and then you exile it. Pretty good. Windfall, everybody wheels their hands and then draw equal to the grace number. So if I have a lot, I can maybe mill some people out. If they don't have maximum hand size, they're going to have to discard that. If Billy Jin's out doing his solo, they're going to have to discard that at the end of their turn. With Library of Lang, I don't discard my hand. It goes back on top of my library. Like, this card is really good. It's pretty versatile, especially once you can get stuff pumping out really good. Forbid, this is a 3 mana counterspell, and you can buy back, discard 2 cards. So, I mean, with tomorrow just pumping, draw, you're going to have a few cards to discard for this card. So it's pretty good. Careful Consideration. Usually if you play this during your main phase, you draw 4, discard 2. If you don't, you draw 4, discard 3. So it's just a great draw spell. Either way you do it, but you usually play it on your main phase. Plagiarize. I really like the art on this one. The art is fucking wicked. But so say if somebody's playing Nekusar and everybody's drawing an additional 3-4 cards every turn anyways. Tomorrow negates that because there's a replacement effect, so Nekusar never does anything to you. But Plagiarize, you play that on somebody's upkeep and you just steal all their draws. They probably don't really care, so they don't take the damage, but you're just going to take all of their draws. So, it's super mean, it's super dick move, but it's a lot of fun. Rite of Replication, this is the card I was talking about. You play this on Consecrated Sphinx, you play this on Muldrifter, you play this on a bunch of things. Anything that draws a lot of cards and isn't legendary, of course, but boom, you just make 5 copies of it if you kick it. This card's a lot of fun. Turnabout. You can do this on yourself. Well, I like to do it a lot on just somebody's upkeep. You just tap all their lands. It's like, ha, that was a good turn, bro. And then yeah, they don't like that. They usually get pissed and come after you. But yeah, you can do it to yourself. You can do it to anybody. But it's it's a fun card. Desertion. Counterspell. If it was an artifact or a creature, you just put it in control under your play, or under play into play under your control. There we go. Got it. Yeah, this card's super good. It is 5 mana, but I think it's worth the extra like 3 mana or so for putting it under your control. Time Reversal. This is like Time Twister, except it exiles itself, and I believe it's more expensive. I'm not sure how much Time Twister costs, but mana wise, Time Twister is expensive in real paper money. So each player shuffles their hand, graveyard, and draws 7 cards. So it's not super good in this deck, especially when you get tomorrow go and you really don't want this card. But if your hand's trash and it's just taking forever, you can use this as a safety valve, I guess you'd say. Evacuation. This just bounces all creatures to their owner's hands. So it's good if people are starting to be mean to you. And Time Warp. This is the card I was talking about. So Time Warp is 5 mana. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. And it does not exile. I'm pretty sure almost every other extra turn spell exiles itself. Pretty much. Besides like Time Walk and Time Warp. So play Time Warp. Get it back Mnemonic Wall. Play Time Warp again. Get it back with Archaeomancer. Play Time Warp again, snap it back. Boom. So that's 4 turns you can take off of that one card. So yeah, that's usually a lot of fun to do. Now, does that always happen? No, that's kind of like a tomorrow wet dream. That's like, it's beautiful. But hey, we can have wet dreams, can't we? Spelljack, this is a 6-mana counter spell, and then if it's countered, you exile it, and uh, as long as it's exiled, you can just play it without paying its mana cost. So, yeah, you can just counter a huge spell, then play it for free. So, yeah, that card's a lot of fun. Blatant Thievery, I've won some games off this too. I've seen a lot of people win games off this. You just take control of a permanent from each person. So you steal Soul Ring, steal a mana crypt, just steal some mana stuff, steal some blockers. Game can get over real quick. And the last card is Treasure Cruise. A balloon 7, or you can just delve a bunch to just draw 3 cards. So just another great draw spell. So that was 26 instants and sorceries in the deck, and that is the whole deck. As tomorrow's Azami's familiar. So as you can see, it's basically all about drawing cards and making sure that your opponents have a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. I'm going to be pumping out probably another couple videos here in the next couple days. I appreciate everybody who's been watching my Hikori video. I can't believe it's gotten that many views. I can't believe all of you people don't want friends and don't like friends. So welcome to the club, I guess. Once again, thanks.